Hey guys, welcome back to Driven Channel, and I'm here with a special guest, Rich Light. Is it Richard or Rich Light?
It's Richard. That's my birth name.
But you go by Rich, right?
Yeah, people call me Rich.
Because when I talk to you, you're like, "This is Rich."
Yeah,
Is that because like
it's great to be rich. That's what I tell people.
It sounds more like money, rich.
That's right.
Than Richard. Does your wife call you Rich or Richard?
Depends on her mood.
So if she's mad, she's probably Richard. But if she's
But
happy,
in
Rich.
Spanish, when she's mad, she yells at me in Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like making her mad?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it keeps it spicy.
Yeah.
You kind of understand that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Latinas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes it fun, right? Not boring.
Yeah, I think Latinas they like to get pissed off.
They do. You know why? Because they like novella.
Yeah.
You know, they grow up. Their mom and their grandma watch the novella. They learn novella.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah. 100%. Trust me, I have a lot of practice with that.
I know. I watched you at a couple events.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. But the dynamics makes it interesting because behind that is passion, and passion is what drives us, right?
Yeah.
Like driven.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Rich, let's talk about Glossit. So that's your Instagram handle. That's your company.
So Glossit is an automotive brand, and I've been in the car space working with vehicles since 1990. And we're going on 34 years, April 19th, that I've been self-employed. So basically, I'm going to be 54 this year. I was 20 years old, and I had a vision that I love cars, and I knew I wanted to be around cars. And my dad was a car guy, and I said, "Hey, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to live." And I started in Boston, Massachusetts. I went to school in New England. I went to boarding school. I went to college. I never graduated because I was so hungry to do my own thing. And I started in Boston, which is way from Vegas where we're based now. But it's kind of like my ground roots. I was born and raised outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I grew up with a father who was an entrepreneur. And the crazy part is that on both sides of our family, we didn't really have entrepreneurs initially. But if we look past our parents, they were entrepreneurs. And my dad's dad was a steel worker in Philadelphia for 26 years, where they poured the pot in the steel, where he would go in every night and work. And when he walked out the next morning, he would just sweat. And he didn't stop sweating until he went to his next shift. He would stop sweating. And his uncle and his mother were the Petrovsky family, Petri, Russian, multi-billionaires. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
And I asked my grandfather when I was a kid, "Why is it that you don't want to be in the family business?" He said, "Because I want to work 9 to 5, and I grew up with a family that worked around the clock 7 days a week, never time off."
Yeah.
And Milton was a guy that I only met as a kid maybe a dozen times at funerals or weddings with bodyguards. He would show up. And not until I got older in life did I kind of like want to know who he was through my grandmother. And he started these clothing stores for women called Milton Clothing Stores. And by the 50s and 60s, he was the #1 store for clothing for women in the world. And he started Toys R Us. He did a lot of cool things, but he wasn't a social guy by any means. When I met him, he didn't talk. He was very short.
Yeah.
And I asked my grandfather, what happened? He said, we were close growing up, but as soon as I told him I don't want to work in the company or in the business, he stopped talking to me. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's how it is.
So then my dad went on to, in his early 20s, he had me when I was 19, worked for a company selling nuts and bolts. And he became sales manager, then district manager, and there was another guy, Al, that worked with him. And he said, "You know what? This was 1974. He said, why don't we start our own foreign car auto parts store? It doesn't exist in North America." And my dad and him built it to 100 stores by 81. That was pretty impressive. He was hungry. And every time he would build a new store, he would buy the real estate. So he would buy this location. He would not be the tenant. He'd be the landlord of the company. And so growing up, I used to work in the parts stores with him. And that's how I got around cars a lot. And he grew it. And then he got into having a brokerage for real estate, building multi-million-dollar spec homes in the 80s, commercial shopping centers, industrial parks. And I got to be around him a lot and watch. He never really said, "Hey, this is how you do it." He just kind of brought me to work, and I just kind of just watched and observed. And he wanted to bring me into the business, and I was going to college, and he said, "This is the plan. You're going to work for my competition. You're going to come work for me after you work for one of my buddies." and then we'll start to scale and build this together. And I said, that's not what I want to do. He said, you're never going to make more than a living if you work with just cars, but if it makes you happy, I support it.
Yeah.
And I moved to Vegas in 94, 95, and I quickly made a name for myself by going out, because I realized that relationships was what my father taught me growing up, are the most important thing you need to do. And I went networking, and I went to all the casino owners and car dealerships, and that's how I found Brad. I saw Brad years ago, and I remember seeing him working for the Tobin family for Dan, because Dan was a good friend of mine who started Tobin Automotive Group, and that's Josh and Carolyn. And I remember seeing Brad Lee behind the sales desk. Isn't that crazy?
So this was before he started.
This is before Lightspeed. And I knew who he was, because Vegas is small. We all know each other.
Especially back then.
Yeah, it was real small.
So how was he when you saw him back then?
He's the same guy, telling jokes.
Was he really as good in sales as he says?
I never watched him in action with a customer. I never got to witness him. I just watched him joking with his team. You know, I would see him always constantly cracking jokes and being the funny guy.
Yeah.
You know, and I knew a lot of the car dealership owners. They liked Brad because Brad was just really natural and good with people. And he worked for different families in Vegas. What was really cool is that he didn't know me when I met him. And when I started reminding him about who I was and what I did, he's like, yeah, I never met you. I know who you were, but I never met you in person. I knew your company. Because I was like the go-to guy. I worked on the Marnell's cars and Steve and Elaine and all these different people in Vegas, because I was like building relationships, showing them what my value was and what I could do with their cars and how I could help them. And I became the Boston kid, you know. And I did that really fast. And then I got into real estate. I had over 40 houses in 2004 to 6. I started buying and flipping. And
you lost them all in 2008?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I did lose all of them.
It
took me, I was trying to save my ass because I had a lot of cash. So I remember my father, this is a really good story, and this is why it's important for people to listen to somebody who has more experience than you. And my father called me in the beginning of 07 and said, son, get rid of everything. I said, Dad, Vegas is not that way. It's not going to happen. Son, get rid of everything. I had $30 million of equity in properties. He said, if you don't listen to me, you are going to lose your ass. I said, Dad, I know what I'm doing.
How did your dad know that?
Because he was in the game. And he knew from his friends and the people that played at a larger level than I played, they saw the storm coming and they were prepared. And they said, close the hatches. We're going to go through a storm. And if you don't get prepared, you're going to get clobbered. And guess what? I didn't listen to the old man. And that was my fault. Because he knew more. He had much more success than me. He had much more knowledge, much more wisdom. And I didn't listen to him. I should have listened to him. But it took me till 2012 to get out of the hole. Can you believe that? And the crazy part is that I had other businesses that collapsed at the same time because everybody was going through that hardship, you know. But Glossit was growing, which was crazy.
So Glossit starts when?
We started at SEMA, the convention, the automotive convention. 2007 was my first year as a brand. The shop that I had been around a long time working on the cars, but it wasn't called Glossit. It was called something different. And so when I decided to do that, all my real estate buddies looked at me and said, you're going to start wax and polish line? Are you crazy? Like they literally thought that I lost my mind. They're like, that makes no sense. Like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
And I said, because I believe I can. I believe I can build this
So
out.
all your real estate disappeared, or did it go to zero?
No, it didn't go to
equity,
zero. It didn't go to zero equity.
So it went from 30 million to how much equity?
2 million.
Damn.
I blew through 5 million cash to keep it, to get to that point, because we were bleeding. So what happened was, you know what happened. I was buying the balloon loans where they matured and they were 80-20, and then they came due, and then the interest rate changed, you know, and then the value of the property was 300. Now it's $120. And so I was trying to figure it out. And I had a partner at the time that she was working for Remax in Vegas off Horizon Ridge. And what we used to do is when she would buy a property, we'd take her commission and we put it back in for improvements.
Yeah.
Then we would split the profits after we have all the subs come in and rehab the property. Well, one day I go to the bank account, it's empty. There was 250 grand in the account that we had for working capital.
It's empty?
She took it all.
Where'd you go?
Nobody knows.
You still don't know?
Still don't know.
What if you see her right now? Would you tell her to give me the money back?
I don't think I would say give me my money back, but I would
You'll
definitely
recognize her if you see her.
yeah, I would
Some
recognize.
people. That's been how long? It's 07?
08, 09.
Some people you don't recognize them after 10 years. Like a lot of people come up to me and they're like, "Hey, you remember me?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I'll just say no, and like my wife, she's always trying to be politically correct. She wants to be proper.
Hmm.
I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna lie and say yes, I remember you if I don't remember you.
Yeah.
Or people ask me like, they'll say things like, "Hey, do you know? Have you heard about this? Do you know this person?" I'm like, "No."
Hmm.
But yeah, people come up to me and they're like, "Hey, remember me?" Like, yeah. I'm like, "No," and then they look at me like, but then some people just try to say, "Oh yeah, 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 I remember you." Like my
Yeah.
wife would be like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I remember you,"
Yeah. Like
and I'm
my
like,
wife says the same
I'm like,
thing.
"Stop lying! Like I don't remember you."
It's
Like,
better to be direct and honest.
yeah, like
But women are not like that.
like right now I'm like oh yeah I'm remembering now the stuff, but I'm not gonna lie and just say straight up, "Oh yes, I remember you 100% from yeah, oh yeah,"
Yeah.
and like it's just, but people sometimes, after 10 years, like you don't, like they change or they look different because like when the people that I grew up with,
Yep.
some people, like when I see them after 10 years or 15 years, they look a lot different. So like I don't know if you would recognize that person.
Well,
Maybe she changed, but whatever.
Whatever. But, but here's the thing.
Because that way you would get those 250K back.
Maybe. Maybe. I mean, I know her brother's still running around Vegas. I've seen the brother and the brother's friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw one of the friends lately because he's an owl doctor because they were kids then. And he's got a brand new Hummer, and he brought it to me, and he's like, "Hey, I want
Yeah.
to deal with Rich. Tell your team.
Yeah.
I know Rich from back in the day."
Yeah.
And he brought her up. I said, "Dude, don't bring her up because I
Yeah.
am not going to help you."
So when you ran into Brad back then, when he
I
was
never
in sales,
had a one-on-one. I just knew him because I would go into the dealership and I dealt with the dealership.
Yeah.
I dealt with the sales team, the service writers, because I was the go-to guy. And they would be like, "Hey, we got this client with a Rolls or a Ferrari or a Lambo." Dan Tobin would specifically call the owner of Tobin Automotive Group, and he was a
Yeah.
great guy. He would call me like, "Hey, I got this Azure Bentley. We can't fix it. It's a nightmare. Come get it. Just get it done, dude."
Yeah.
And he was a great guy. And I know Josh and Brad work together,
Yeah.
but I never sat down and had a conversation with the three of them.
Who's cooler though? You or Brad?
Brad, of course, is going to say him. I'm going to say me. But you know what's funny is I'll tell you a funny story. We were in the airport coming here, and we were getting ready to board the plane.
Mm-hmm.
And some random guy walked up on me and said, "You remind me of Brad Lee." I said, "What?" He just walked randomly up to me. I said, what would make you say that, bro? He's like, "Because your personality, the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you joke. Like, I'm listening to you with your wife right now. I don't want to be rude. This just happened before coming today." And I said, he goes, "Why?" So you know what Brad would say? He goes, "Oh, well, hell no, I'm better looking. He's just an imitation."
Yeah.
You know Brad.
Yeah.
You know. But the one thing that I think I respect about Brad a lot, and I think we might have in common, is that we're super direct people and we're approachable and we want to add value. We want to generally help people because we know what it's like to try to figure things out, not have those relationships or the resources. And anytime we can add something to somebody's life, which I admire because I've been around a lot of people in the space, and he's probably one of the most authentic people that I've met. Like the way he's on camera and the way he's off camera, he's the same dude.
Yeah.
I don't see a difference. Do you?
Well, Brad, when I noticed that when the camera is recording, he'll like start screaming and being a little bit louder.
Yeah.
And so like sometimes he's like all quiet, and then he'll when we're on the phone, I could tell when he's on camera and when he's not.
Yeah.
Because when he's on camera, he gets loud and he starts saying jokes and weird things.
Yeah.
So I could tell like he's recording me or this and that.
No, the only thing I notice is that he likes to give you a hard time. And what I do notice about Brad, he gets on your butt pretty good.
Yeah.
And when I've listened to the podcast, and I'm like, Albert's being a really good sport right now. And then you try to refocus him on what you're actually trying to talk.
Yeah.
And then he likes to take you and throw you off course, right?
Yeah, he's like, let's see if he answers.
He'll answer.
He's in
I
the
bet you
Turks?
call him and I'll call him, and I'll see who answers.
It's 9 p.m. over there. he didn't answer. See if he answers you.
Okay. Is he? He's not in Vegas right now. I think he's somewhere else.
He's in Turks.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to answer.
It's 9 p.m.
Let's see. There, I think. Let's see.
He'll answer Andy Elliott.
Yeah, you know why? Because Andy makes him a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
It's the rule of life. Maria doesn't answer me on.
You never call me unless you're drinking.
Never called you when I'm drinking.
What are you doing? What's cracking?
What's going on?
I'm sitting in this studio with this guy named Albert. You know him?
Yes,
He dodged my call.
Did you hear him?
I just got out of the shitter.
Did you? Did you drop the kids off at the pool? So Albert was curious if I call or you call, if you were going to pick up my call or his call.
Well, I heard the phone ringing, but I just came out of the bathroom.
Where are you, in Turks?
Yeah.
We're doing a live podcast right
Sounds
now.
like he's still taking the shit.
Are you still taking a shit?
See, if he answers you when he's taking the shit,
What's cracking? You're on vacation?
Where are you guys?
We're sitting in the studio. We're doing a live podcast.
What studio?
Albert's.
Driven Studios.
Hold on one second.
What Albert want?
Interview. We're interviewing.
And answer my calls, man. It's because
Dude, I needed to white, motherfucker.
I'm not Andy Elliott.
I missed his too.
Yeah, we'll finish wiping.
All right, man.
Done now.
Are you done now?
Yeah.
So when you back in Vegas?
30th.
Oh, you're gone to the end of the month. Hey, so when are you getting your 296? Do you know?
No idea.
Oh, no clue. All right.
They told me on the 12th.
What do you think Brett always has like that low tone voice?
That's his.
That's his style.
Yeah. So is the weather good there, bro?
Yeah.
Decent. Hey, I met your new sales guy, the guy that you introduced me from Pittsburgh. He was in the lounge the other day. He said he's taking over the team.
Oh, is he?
That's what he told me. So I was like, I don't know if that's true. Is that true?
Well, if he's got the ability to, he can.
Yeah.
Someone's going to.
You give him a crack at it. That's what I thought.
Well, someone's got you.
Yeah, I got you. All right, my man. We're in the middle of a podcast. I just want to call. Hit me up when you get back. I got to talk to you about something. I'm not going to talk about it on camera.
Later.
Stop taking so many shits. Hey, so Glossit. So Glossit. So you get into you started Glossit. When you started Glossit, are you married? Is it you by yourself? Because I know now you're happily married to a Latina just like me.
Yeah.
So when you started that, you didn't have a wife, right?
No.
So you're single?
I would say I had a girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
She was Latina.
Oh, so you like Latinas?
Yes. Or I think the Latinas like me.
Yeah. Stay away from Miami.
She takes me. That's where her family's at.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Coral Gables.
We should stay up north. Go to like above Fort Lauderdale.
I like Delray Beach or like...
Miami's nice.
It is nice, but it's getting like, I mean...
Well, it depends where you stay at.
Exactly. We stay at the Ritz-Carlton in South Beach because we know all the staff and all the people,
Yeah.
and they got the private lounge there. Where you
I
can
think
play.
Miami from like I'm not in Miami that much, but I know Miami very well.
Mhm.
I was there a month ago. I'm gonna be there again on the 30th. I think Miami has like the ghetto side and the really nice side. So the really nice side, you have like the upper scale people,
Yeah,
and then the ghetto side, you have the bad side.
like the Patos.
Yeah, the robberies
Yeah.
and the weird women, things like that.
Do you know when I met my wife, She said, you talk like a Mexican in Spanish.
Me? Oh,
No,
you. Oh,
yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, she said, you say perfect dialect like you're I said, I've had Mexican guys work for me for 20 years.
Yeah.
They taught me all the bad stuff, obviously.
I think Colombians are attracted to Mexicans.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never heard that one, but maybe you're right because you would know more. You're Latin. I'm just a gringo.
Yeah.
I'm just a gringo. You know.
So your wife, when did you meet her?
So this could go on for a long story. Let's do the cliff notes. So
Diana Light.
Diana Light, isn't that cool?
What's
So-
your last name?
Latin is Montanese.
Montanez.
Montanez.
So Diana Montanez. And
Yeah. So
what caught, like, where did you guys meet? And
when you
what
come
caught
back
her
to
attention?
Vegas, I'll take you and Sil. We'll take you out to like some of the local spots.
Yeah.
That are super good. They're amazing. And you guys wouldn't know because you never really go to but there's some great. So there's a place called DW Bistro. It has like a Miami feel, the brunch spot.
Yeah.
Where they have like a little DJ there playing and there's brunch and amazing chicken and waffles. I don't know if you like chicken and waffles, but like super good. with a little
I
spice.
like them. Yeah. I like a lot of things, but most of the things that I like are like not healthy for you.
That's pretty-
And not only food wise, but everything else.
Yeah. So when she was there, I was there with a group of buddies.
Yeah.
And
Were
when
you guys on like guys out?
Yeah, we were
Guys'
just
night
no,
out?
we were just hanging out. A bunch of guys we went to there, and I said, "Hey, let's go to DW Bistro." And we were at the bar waiting to get a table, and she was with a group of girls that were
Yeah.
Colombian.
Yeah.
And my back.
All of them
was-
were Colombian?
Oh yeah, and all of them were. My back was to her, and she was pushing in to get inside the bar to order a drink.
Yeah.
And kind of like bumped me, and I turned around. I said, "Excuse me." She said, "No, you excuse me," you know. And I was like, "Okay, she's sassy." So I said, "Oh, nice. So where are you from?" She goes, "Miami." I said, "It's pretty far from Miami." She says, "No, I know." And so we just started talking, and
This
then
was how long ago?
2017.
2017. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's when I had the first driven event.
yeah,
Italia was born.
My daughter was born.
yeah. And so,
What was your what were you thinking when she bumped you and then you turned
well,
around? and
obviously the first thing I'm like, two things. One, when she talks, she sounded like Sofia Vergara, the
Yeah.
Colombian actress.
Sofia Vergara.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She acts and talks.
Yeah, I had a
just-
crush on her back then. Back in
Did
the
you?
day.
She
Yeah.
is hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was married to what's his name?
She's a little
the
more.
guy from Magic Mike.
The guy from what?
Magic Mike.
Magic
Joe.
Mike.
What's his name? Joe.
Oh, Joe. Yeah.
Joey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was.
But when she was like 21, 22, and she used to come out in what is that show called? She had a show like on Canal 34 or something like
Yeah.
that.
Wasn't she on Telemundo
She was really
too?
young. She was like I think it was Telemundo maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she used to come out in the show. It was like a funny show. But she was always like showcasing her curves and everything,
Yeah.
and like
I mean, so she reminds me, and it was funny because when I first met her and we started hanging out and we were watching TV one night, and I said, I don't really watch sitcoms, but I said, hey, I'm going to turn the sitcom on. And then she was sitting there on the couch. I had a blanket, and she saw Sophia start talking.
because
Like,
they talk similar.
yeah, like the dialect, the personality.
But going back, like when you turn around like all mad because she shoved you, and you turn
I
around
was-
and,
well,
and then you see her,
obviously-
like, what's your first impression of her,
Just like you and Sil. Wow, she's hot.
and what action did he take at the moment?
I didn't really. It was just more of a conversation. It wasn't like a hard hit on her. Like, hey, you want to go out? You want to give me your number? Like, it was more sarcasm. It was more bantering. Like,
Did you get her a drink?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Get a drink. I
So
think
you
I
went
bought
from
all
you,
the girls
you,
drinks.
you went from her bumping you to you getting them drinks.
Yeah, everybody.
That's a good move, yeah.
Yeah, just being the host.
And then what happened after that?
We got married 6 years later.
Well, I have the best part. The first time he told me I'm not looking for a girlfriend, he said,
I did say
"I'm not
that.
looking for a boyfriend either. I want to come back to Miami." So
Yep.
he likes to talk a lot. And obviously I like.
He's a high I personality.
Yeah, and
A
I
what
like
personality?
that.
Hold on.
You're high I.
Hi, I.
Yeah. Have you ever taken a disc test?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, you're a high I.
Yeah.
I could tell that. Like I could smell that.
Could you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he's like that. Like a high energy. and
Do you
I
guys
like
agree
that.
with that?
You do talk. But
Ah.
we were all talking.
Oh,
No, but it's not a bad thing. It's
I've
actually
taken the disc test.
it's actually really good for sales. It's really good.
Yeah. That's actually what my favorite thing to do is teach sales. Like
Yeah.
how to overcome objections.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I like teaching people.
See the from what I've learned from my experience is the problem with high eyes
Mm-hmm.
is that they're really aggressive in speaking,
Mm-hmm.
and their only thing is like if you know when to stop and when to keep going, that's the difference maker in being like the closer versus the being good in sales to being the closer. Now, it's way better though than like it's an advantage though because there's people that can't talk no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have people under you, and you must get frustrated sometimes with certain people. I don't know if this is right or wrong, but you may like if I were you, I would feel like I would expect everybody to be like that and jump on the sales and talk to people, and because for you it comes naturally.
Yeah.
Most people, they naturally can't go and approach strangers and
Mm-hmm.
start talking, start selling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, it does make sense. So, like, for example, I have guys that work for me on my sales team, both on the service side of what we do and on the university, because we have appointment setters, to have, like, what we call a 15-minute sprint call, right? Because, not everybody is coachable, right? Not everybody qualifies for the
Yeah.
support they're looking because their mindset is just, it's not in the right place. And, it's about asking the right questions and how you qualify people to figure out, is this a good fit? Is it not a good fit? And maybe it might be down the road. But for me, it's like, when I teach sales, I tell guys, you need to just shut up after you make whatever your offer is,
Mm-hmm.
and just smile and look and just let them make the decision. Because the more you talk, sometimes you're just going to ruin it. And then you're going to talk yourself out of a sale.
Yeah.
You just got to know when to shut up.
You know the best way of closing
Mhm.
is just getting the other person to talk.
Yeah.
So let's say let's say I'm single. Just say that for fun.
Mhm.
I'm single and I decide to go out tonight, and I like find this chick and she's like really hot. If I get her to talk, I'm already 95% in the victory lane.
Mhm.
And how do you get the other person to talk? You just start talking about them.
Mhm.
You start talking about their interests, compliments, things like that.
Yeah.
And then they start talking. They get all excited. And then I feel once you do that, you get the other person talking. Like it's going to be very easy to.
Well, because what happens is when you're building trust by building rapport. So you got to find something that you relate genuinely,
Yeah.
authentically with that person. What do you have in common? Like, so when we teach sales training, right? Which
Yeah.
I know you do. You always start the conversation. Stop talking about the product or what you're trying to sell them. Get to know who they are. Let them tell you what they are,
Right.
how they live.
Right.
Find something in common, and then as soon as you find something in common, just dive into what you have
Yeah.
genuinely. And then they'll feel like they'll drop their guard, and now you can talk about what you're trying to sell.
Yeah.
But when you just walk in cold, people are like, "Hey, I don't know you." Like it's kind of like what you were saying, the correlation of dating, right?
Yeah.
You don't just walk up on a woman and say, "Hey, can I get your number?"
Yeah. Or
Because that guy who does that, he's a numbers guy. He's just literally going through how many people he can ask the same question. Eventually, somebody's going to say yes, right?
yeah.
Where you and I would not take that approach. I'm sure when you were with Sil, you were kind of just a conversational person when you talked to her. It wasn't like, hey, I want to learn more about you. Like, what's your life? Like, where do you live? Where are you from? Like,
You know what I used to tell girls?
Yeah.
I used to tell them like, hey, you want to go to my house and have pizza?
Really?
Yeah, like after the clubs, yeah, nightclubs, because I would pick up chicks in the nightclubs, and I would tell them like, hey, let's go to my house for a party, and we could have pizza,
Mhm.
and it was like 1:30 a.m. or so, and then whenever they told me, no, and I would be like, why not? You don't like pizza?
Mhm.
And they were like, yeah, I like pizza, and like, so let's go.
I know where this is going.
And and then I mean it would work out plenty times. Sometimes it wouldn't work out.
Yeah.
But that was like that's the same pitch I gave Sil. I'm like, hey, let's go to my after party and I'm gonna have pizza, and then she was like, so she was I actually closed her, but I didn't because then she was following me to my house, and then when I got into the freeway, she just kept going, and I was like, fuck, I already went in the freeway, so I couldn't back down. So that was the first night. I thought I had her the first night.
Yeah.
But that happened, and then I had to wait like 8-9 months again. So I kept following up though, because
So-
following up, if you follow up till they buy or die, then
What do
you'll
we say?
eventually
No,
get close.
we always say no sales ever dead or done. It's just you haven't give them a reason to say yes.
Yeah. But follow up is big. I think people here, like whether you're good or bad in sales, if you just follow up enough, like for example, like let's say Maria there, you know, like maybe there's this dude that really likes her.
She's thinking about dating gringos after talking to my wife.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, she should. But if like let's say this gringo is after Maria because she likes like kind of like Mexican people.
She told me.
Yeah. And
She didn't say it like that.
Yeah, like
she's like I like Latin
like
guys. 'Cause
Mexican
they know my
people,
culture. I like to dance. I want to understand our values, like our families. Like what do we have in common?
Yeah.
I feel more comfortable.
But let's say if this whether it's this little Mexican guy or this gringo, and they want to go out with her,
yeah.
like if they follow up till she buys or dies, like eventually, after 6 months, 7 months of the person just being consistent,
Yeah.
she'll eventually say yes.
Yeah.
So the problem is that most people they're not as persistent. So I'm very like if I see something that I like,
Yeah.
like or if I want to close this deal so bad, I'm just gonna keep following up, and sometimes it takes a year for somebody to finally be like, oh yeah, I'm ready. I had people that after 3 years they're like, I've been following you, Albert, for 3 years. I'm committed. Now I'm committed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the ticket. I'm gonna go here or whatever.
Yeah.
Or finally I'm gonna join the company or whatever. And then I'm like, why did it take you so long? And they're like, oh, Albert, it's because you know what? I was hearing things about you. I didn't really think if you were real. I wasn't sure. And I thought you were just faking it till you made it. Finally, after 3 years, now I believe in it. Okay, now I'm ready. So that's happened a lot. And then I have people that are just easy and they're like same day. They're like, boom,
Do you know
done.
what I call that? I call that order taken.
Yeah.
There's selling and there's order taken.
Yeah.
And that's order taken.
Yeah.
Right? I like the challenge of pushing past the objections when somebody I can tell because you read body language, right? Like you're reading my body language and you're assessing my personality as we're talking because you're kind of like reading me, right? When we become a certain level of like a leader or an entrepreneur, we learn to read the micro expressions, how you carry, how you dress, what you say, how you talk. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. So for example, like if we're adding value to people watching your podcast, right? Some of the things that are ringing out as you're talking is like one is like quitting is never an option, right? A lot of people quit like short of the goal line. I played soccer my whole life. It's crazy because I'm a big guy.
Were you a goalkeeper?
No, I was a forward, left wing, striker.
Really?
Yeah, and I played in Europe and I played all over, and I was like I even got scholarships for it for soccer for Division 1, and I used to run the 40 and 4.6, which was quick for a guy that was 240 pounds, you know.
How tall are you?
6'3" and a half now. I mean, I've always been 6'4". You know, as you get older, you shrink. But
Well, you could stretch. If you
you
stretch,
could if I stretched. Well, I used to do yoga and Pilates and all this CrossFit kind of stuff with my wife, and she still does it twice a day. I mean, like she is dedicated and committed. But
you work out a lot?
like crazy. She'll go twice. She'll go twice, like 2 sessions back to back. She's intense.
She should coach still. Go twice.
You should see her when we're done. She pull up her stomach.
Yeah.
Is nuts.
You have a 6-pack? You have a 4-pack? 6-pack?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not like that. But it's because I like
Maybe you should show your 6-pack right here on film.
No, come on. I have a, but I do have Pilates boot camp, and I do HIIT like a 4 times a week. You know, when you have to raise your heart and you're low, hot, that gives you longevity. So as soon as you get old, you're gonna be strong. You know?
How tall are you?
5'2".
5'2"?
5'2", 5'3", yes.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna take a guess. Can I take a guess at your weight?
Yes.
I think you weigh like 115.
Nope.
I'm a little bit higher.
She's
122.
122.
Yeah,
122.
it's a little bit higher. But
That's my goal, 115.
She wants to be back to 115. And the crazy part is like, for me, when I met her, my commitment to my body was so intense
Yeah.
that I was pretty ripped when I met her.
Yeah.
And then I noticed as time went by and we got married, I started focusing more on the business side because I had the stability on the personal. I wasn't chasing pussy, right? I had a relationship and now my
You were chasing money.
I was chasing money.
When you chase money, pussy chases you.
Pretty much. And so
I saw it. I saw it with my eyes.
Yeah, I shifted.
Yeah.
And when I shifted, I went all in. I became obsessed with like how fast can I grow, how much can I do, I build the teams out, the training out, like how can I go, and I went hardcore.
Yeah.
But what I noticed is that I started to fatigue probably a year ago, Diana. Where I started going to the doctor. I'm like, I got to get tested. Like something's not right. Something's off.
What was wrong or what was hurting?
I was burning out, like to the point where I just didn't turn off, and I didn't want to turn off because I thought if I turn off, I'll lose momentum, right? And there was no balance because I was so obsessed about results. You know, I was doing flips on properties. I was running teams. Like I was just going hard. And then I told her this year, I said, I got to go get tested. I said, I'm going to do
Were
my
you guys
blood
having
work.
a lot of sex or?
I mean, not as much. And it wasn't because we were having difficulties with our relationship. It was because my levels, my testosterone levels when I got my blood work was only like a 400. And my doctor's like, no, it's good though. You're like 53
I wonder
years
what
old.
my levels are.
Yeah, 750 to 800 is what I was when I met her because I would go get the blood work and I would monitor it. And then I just stopped because I did a CrossFit competition where this kidney, I killed it for 45 minutes. And I was carrying, no lie, a 300-pound sandbag 75 yards up and 75 yards back on the clock. And I thought like I pulled something when I was done after 3 lifts. And 2 days later, I'm getting a haircut, and I start turning pale white and sweating, and my stomach's killing me. I call her and said, you got to take me to the hospital. Sure enough, they brought me in the hospital. They put me on morphine. They did an ultrasound. They're like, you killed your kidney. I have 2 infarcts in this kidney. And I got scared because I was like, I've never been injured like that. And the doctor said, when you lift that bag up and you couldn't breathe and you're walking, you pinched the blood vessel, and then when you dropped the bag, you opened up the vessel. And you did it 3 times, which caused a blood clot 2 spots in your kidney, the cardiovascular doctor. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
And so what happened was I was so intense with the working out, but when I got hurt, I stopped, right, Diana? I stopped giving that intensity to my body in the physical training. And so she's like telling me, when are you going to get back into it? Because when I met you, you were just hardcore with that. Like every day, non-negotiable. I gotta go. But I think the physical issue scared me when I went through that, you know? And then I told her recently, I'm going to go get my test. I mean, everything done to make sure, because I want to go back in. Because here's the thing, when you have this type of personality, when you go in, you go all in. There's no half step or half. Like you go either all the way in or you don't do it at all. And that's kind of like been my personality. When I commit, I commit.
What do you think, Diana? What do you tell him? You want him to get back or no? Or?
For sure, get back. It's gonna give you energy. It's gonna, I mean, his life is gonna be different. He has to come back.
What if you just do lighter weight?
No, I think it's about that. It's just like I will work out like she does.
Because you know what I do is like I don't like doing lightweight. So like when I start doing lightweight, like the next week I want to lift more. Then the next week I want to lift more. And then if I'm not lifting more weight,
You feel like you're not growing.
I feel like I'm. So I'll just keep pushing,
Yeah.
and then eventually like I get hurt.
But this kind of class is like a 1 hour in a heated room, and you can pick your way. But it is something mentally because you have to.
I introduced her to this.
But isn't that like a girl workout?
No, it's not actually.
No,
It's not.
Like in the heated room,
It's intense.
It is super intense for 45 minutes. You have to control your breathing.
You got kettlebells that weigh like you could pick whatever you want. But I would be doing like swings with 75, 85 pounds.
That's why you got hurt.
It is your body, it is the breath, it is the heated room, it is because you have to get into that room and say, I can't do it. People is quitting in the class, and you have to just get in and say, I cannot stop. I have to finish my class, because it's your weight, your body, when you're tired, when you can't breathe, and the weight on
because
your
the
own
heat
body,
takes out all your endurance. It like sucks you dry. So like pushing past that threshold is a different type of mindset. I did this, and I brought her to this experience. She never did in her life.
I'm gonna send you Sil, so you could put her in through that. Yeah.
It's intense. We've been in the class where what is it? A-Rod showed up with J-Lo.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
they do that. J-Lo,
Yeah.
for life.
He's actually an entrepreneur out of Miami. They're not together anymore, but he used to
I
work
just saw her
out.
with Ben Affleck.
Yeah. And then, so when she was with him, they would show up to the same True Fusion class, and J-Lo would come in the back door, so nobody knew who she was in the back of the room, and he's next to me working out, doing the training in the hot room, you know?
Well, I think you told me this story in that event, the event where we met. We were talking.
Yeah.
And you I think I remember that you told me the story about J Lo and
Yeah.
that you were working at, that you were there too.
But I didn't know until he looked back and said, "Hey," and then she's behind us.
Yeah.
You know, but she didn't want to come in with everybody else.
Yeah.
But he became an investor. He opened up the Coral Gables True Fusion. He owns it.
Yeah.
You know, it's
No, I seen A-Rod with another chick here.
Blonde
but
girl.
But this was, yeah, with blonde girl. But this
Yeah.
was like years ago at Equinox,
Mhm.
next door. But so
He's
So-
like, there's an example. That's a successful guy.
Yeah.
He's taking real estate to a different level. He's a
Yeah.
big multifamily guy.
yeah,
You know,
he was
But-
smart. He made a lot of money playing baseball, and he invested it in real estate.
which a lot of sports players don't do. And he's like one of them that got very smart with his money and said, "I'm going to make my money make money."
Yeah.
You know, it's about when they get into a certain level. Because here's the thing, people only see your end result. They don't see your journey.
Mm-hmm.
You agree?
Yeah.
So they don't see the pain that we go through as entrepreneurs to get to the rewards that we have today in our life.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of days where you have to get uncomfortable. You have to say to yourself, "This is non-negotiable. I don't feel like doing this. I'll do this tomorrow." There is no tomorrow, right? There's only now. And if you're not taking action now, it's your fault. Nobody around you
Yeah.
that's causing this to happen. You're the problem, not the people you're around. You know?
So right now your company has grown, right? So where is it today versus when you started? Like how much has it grown? How much more do you want to grow it? Do you plan on selling it or keeping it?
So
Like-
I can't say the company recently. That we had a conversation in 21 with a company out of Miami.
Yeah.
And they approach us, which they're just VC, venture capitalist guys. They bought, I signed a non-disclosure. They bought a huge company that sells car covers, and it's a big company. And they bought 5 other automotive brands, and they came to me in 21, wanted to have a conversation about acquiring me. And so my son, who's 31, is in private equity. He was on the call because he worked for Hamilton out of Philadelphia as a junior partner, and now he's got his own private equity firm. He's like, "Dad, I want to be on the call. I'm going to listen." And they wanted to acquire me, so we started talking about EBITDA, and people know what EBITDA is, earning before taxes. Like,
Yeah.
And
Like net income for people that want to simplify it.
correct. And then there's a multiplier depending on your industry.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're in the conversation, and there's thinking they
Does your industry have a high multiplier?
Yeah, 7 to 9. And they saw the value in the brand because they wanted a DIY brand, a B2C brand, which means business to consumer.
Mm-hmm.
And they were very aggressive in having a conversation. And I was in a call with like 13 guys, and my attorney and their attorney. It just didn't go anywhere because, and this is really important because when you look at EBITDA, right, or your net, like the bottom line, there's other factors into building a brand financially, like brand personality, like what is the market fit. And a lot of people don't understand the value, and it's hard to quantify that, right, inside a product.
Yeah.
And I told them what my number was before we even got on the call. And they were like, "Well, do you have financials to support that?" I said, "Well, I can tell you right now, it's not going to evaluate for that with a multiplier at this moment, but it will in the next 12 months. And the call just didn't go very well. One of the partners was kind of put off by me because I used a really rough analogy, like a street analogy. And he was asking me some really number-driven questions. And I said, "So let me get this right. You want me to tell you how I did this, right? And the strategies and the marketing I put behind this, but you got no skin in the game." He says, "Well, if you want us to buy you," I said, "I didn't come to you guys. You came to me." And so I said, if you went to a strip club in Vegas and you asked
Never
a
have.
girl to go home to you and drop her panties, and you're like, "I'm not giving you $1," do you
Never
think
done
she
that
should?
either.
What's that?
No.
He's trying to throw me off. But it was a parable to validate a point with this guy. And he goes, "I've never heard anybody talk to that. What do you want?" I said, "Put $1 million in escrow, and I'll tell you whatever you want to know."
Yeah.
And he goes, "What's the conditions?" I said, "If you go to any of my competitors," which I know you're talking to 4 of my competitors right now. He goes, "You don't know that." I said, "I'm not stupid." And you reveal and you look at what I have that you can plug into somebody else that I divulge, now you become my competition, it becomes a problem. And that puts me behind the 8 ball. I'm not stupid. And he's like, "We're not talking anymore." And we hung up. So going back 6 months ago, I get approached all the time by VC companies saying, "Hey, we want to acquire you," which is just poaching. And guess who showed back up again? Scott, the
Same
partner. Yeah. And I said, "The number changed." He said, "You're kidding me." I said, "No, my attorney said it's double what he asked for before." Well, does he have the financials? He said it's non-negotiable. And well, can you sign this NDA? So they sent us an NDA over to have a conversation with me again. It was a bullshit NDA. They wanted me to say if there was litigation, I had to go to Florida or Nashville or Delaware because they were incorporated in Delaware. I said, no, you're going to come to Nevada, or we're not having the conversation. My point is that I know what the value of the company is, and I'm having fun with it. So there's like no reason for me to exit, right? Because what happens is if I don't have a new purpose set up, what am I going to roll into?
Yeah.
Right? And people don't think about this. They just think about the exit of, oh, I got all this money.
What would it take for you to sell? Like, what's the magic number for you?
50.
So somebody gives you 50 million, you'll take it?
I'm out.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with 50 million?
Gonna relax, enjoy my life, spend time with my wife and my family, travel the world. But that won't last very long.
How much are you going to give Diana?
I don't know. That's up to Diana.
Question.
Huh?
Thank you.
As much as she wants.
Yeah.
You know the correct answer. Happy wife, happy Latina, happy what?
Happy life.
That's right. You know the rules, right? It's like the pizza guy. One
Yeah.
bite, that's the rule, right? But the point is that for me, what inspires is like you, when you get up on stage and you have that younger crowd sitting out there listening to everything you're saying. They're listening to your story, right? For me, when I came to Driven, I said to myself, and I told Diana, I said, I'm going to be up on stage with this guy one day sharing my story. How did I build an 8-figure company? What were the steps? What was the mindset? What was the discipline? What was the fortitude? What was the grit? Like, what did I have? Who did I have to be? In this conversation, one of the things that's really important, Albert, which you don't know, is one of my close friends is Garrett J White.
He was here.
Yeah, I know. Me and Garrett are buddies. Do
Yeah.
you know I'm Wake Up Warrior 2015? I'm the class before Sean.
Oh, yeah?
Satema was my coach.
Yeah.
I got Rick Steele.
Garrett's a crazy dude in a good way.
You know, he's got a screw.
Oh, his wife's super cool, too.
Yeah, I know him. And she's met him. She's met Garrett.
They like to have fun.
They do. They have a lot of fun. And Garrett is batshit crazy, so you know.
He what?
He's batshit crazy.
All of you guys.
Yeah, he is but here I'm batshit crazy. And I don't know you on a personal level.
What's batshit crazy?
Like, he can turn in a millisecond and just flip. I'm talking, I've been around him when his switch just goes off.
Like how? Like how?
Just temper, like loses it.
Like it's pissed off?
Oh yeah, I've seen it. And you know, the thing is that he saw that in me too. But at that moment, that's when two powerful personalities are coming at each other and there's a difference of opinion, and who's going to be alpha? Who's going to be alpha in that moment? And I learned that in 2015, looking at him eye to eye, you know. And I actually got along with Garrett great. Me and Satema wanted to fight. And Satema's living in Vegas now. You know, he moved.
Satema.
Satema Gali, New York Patriots, Super Bowl, Samoan, huge guy, his personal coach.
Yeah, I think I seen him before.
Yeah. I watched him and Garrett go at it when I went through Wake Up Warrior 23 in 2015.
They fought?
I didn't.
Oh.
We were outside, but they were
Who do you
inside.
think wins in the fight?
I don't know, man. Satema's. I watched Garrett fight and I've watched Satema fight. And I don't know. That would be
They have
pretty
different
close.
styles.
Very different styles. But I think
if Garrett keeps the distance and doesn't let the other guy like hug him,
Yeah.
I think Garrett like beats him.
Do you know the intense training that we go through Warrior Week? Did he ever share that with you? The physical, the mental.
He gave me like just small details.
It's no joke, bro. It's crazy. Like Sam runs it. He runs the training. We call him the terrorist, you know, with the black beard and the hair.
Yeah.
But I went through it, and it was. I knocked 3 guys out in a boxing ring, and then I wanted to box Satema.
How does it feel when your husband knocks other guys out? You like it? Doesn't it turn you on?
It depends. Because with guy with you like is super smart, we have to be careful because it could be a game, it could be a favor. I mean, I can like that character, but I have to deal with. So, I mean, I like he's very strong. I can be with men less strong than me, you know?
Yeah.
But obviously, yes, turn me on, like he's tall, his personality, he's very strong. But I have to be careful too, because I have to be strong too, in order to have that kind of man next to me. So it is depends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if your boyfriend gets his ass kicked?
I was seeing someone that was skinnier than me, and that was something that I thought about.
Like you would have to protect him.
Yeah. No,
Like-
I'm walking away. He cut
But it
himself.
doesn't matter the size.
Bye.
I mean.
No, that's not true, Diana, because you only like tall guys, big guys. You told me that when you met me. You said I would never date a guy my height or even close to my height.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean like I'm gonna be scared with you. That doesn't mean I'm gonna be, like the first time, how he says like, yeah, he's very strong and his personality is very tough. But in the beginning, I have to show him like I'm very crazy. Like I really don't care.
She is crazy.
Like you're taller than me. I'm not scared with you. Like I'm no way. So it doesn't matter the height. Is your height? You are. Sure, it doesn't matter because men is men and women is women. So you have to just.
But I think for a woman, it's like a little bit different. But like, let's say if you were dating a guy that was like 5 foot and
yeah, no problem.
195 pounds.
95?
Were my ex-boyfriend when I was in my country in Venezuela, I was 5 years with Italian guy. He was shorter than me and he was a little bit fat. And I really don't care about that. I was looking for another thing, like I was looking for a family side, how was his family, how was with me, like protection, like a lot of things. But it's depending how women we're very mature, depending of our experience, made you stronger. Like I live by my own since I have 17 years old. Obviously, I'm getting strong and strong. And I remember when I was with that guy, he was a little bit chunky, and I like it. It doesn't matter. Like I really don't care about
Everybody deserves some love.
But you know what? His family was so beautiful. In that moment, I was like, my focus was like, let me see his family side.
Yeah.
So today, obviously, after.
But now you wouldn't date him? Not anymore.
No way. No way.
You wouldn't be attracted anymore.
No way, Jose. I remember when I was living in Miami. I was working in SEMA with him, and he was telling me like, oh my God, that was my. He messaged me out of the blue, and he just told me that was my dream. Go to SEMA. And I remember when I was 25 years old, that was his girlfriend, and I told him, hey, let's move to United States. And he was so scared, and when he messaged me that moment, like, oh, that is my dream, being SEMA. And I said, well, I have a question for you. Why you didn't want to move with me when I told you let's move to the United States? And he told me, I was so scared. Well, that is the difference. I am in SEMA and you're still there. Whatever.
Yeah.
So no. No, I'm not gonna date with
So now the new Diana, now she upped her requirements. Was she?
She upped her standards, right?
Yeah.
I always tell people, like, one of the things I learned from Garrett that I respect, there's a lot of things about Garrett I respect, was the current version of who you are isn't going to get it done. The question is, who must you become to have what you want,
Yeah.
right? And so Garrett gamified his program. You can see the band on my wrist.
Yeah.
And all of us that are part of that group, there's some mixed, Rick Steele from Blind Guy. Everybody knows Rick out of Arizona. He's the #1 blind guy in the world. And David from Hotels.com. I mean, there's some really great guys that met in that group. There was 9 of us. But it was about, like, how do you create the version of who you are, and how do you get clear, and why is that important to you about what you want in your life? And these are hard questions you need to have with yourself. And I know you've had these questions to yourself when you're by yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because what really matters is what you believe, not what others believe.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, so how was meeting Steve Wen?
Steve was, again, there's another personality. Very nice, very charismatic. His wife, Elaine, we didn't get along very well.
Why not?
She just thought I was too expensive. Every time we'd have arguments
Really?
about the bills on her car, her Bentley.
But he has a.
He never
limited money.
questioned me about my bill. He never said anything. His assistant never said anything. Mark Shores, his brother-in-law, Mark helped. He's big in a lot of the casinos when they scaled to Macau and the other properties. And Mark introduced me to Steve. And Mark also introduced me to Stephen Klubeck, Diamond Resorts, Timeshare King, and Maloof and Marnell, Senior and Junior. Vegas is a good old boy town, And once I started to build these relationships and these guys trusted me, I mean, I go to Shadow Creek and the guards be at the gate with their AR-15s, and they all knew me. And I would go into Steve's garage and have keys to his cars and pull out of the property, do what I had to do at my shop, and then bring him back and put him in his garage. That kind of trust was just hard to get, with certain people in that town. And I worked hard to get close to those people because I knew that the credibility of who they were would help me as a brand, a personal brand, and what I did to kind of scale what I wanted to do in the town, because then I had credibility.
So you think connecting with these big names help your business grow?
A lot. Huge.
So
Because
if you have to pay money to get it into this relationship with big names, you think it's worth it?
depends on the relationship. It depends on like what you're looking to learn from that person. What are you trying to acquire like from that person, right? Brad's relationship and mine turned out because we knew some of the mutual people, and I knew from hanging around with Mike Bonnet, you know, Mike used to work for Grant, and being part of that group, that he was in my backyard, but I only knew him from a long time ago. I couldn't just walk up and be like, hey, I'm Rich Light.
Yeah.
And so we kind of just started talking, and he gave me his truck, his Raptor, the old one, the old black one he had, and just said, hey, one day he texted me, he's like, hey, I got these nasty tree branch scratches down my truck, and I'm going out of town. I'm leaving it at the airport at the valet. Can you grab it? And I want to take these decals off my truck. Can you help me out? There was my opportunity. And so basically we got the truck, brought it back to our shop. My guys worked on it, sent him pictures. He's like, there's no way you did that without painting. I said, no, we didn't do that. We didn't paint your truck. We took those out. He's like, dude, there's no way. I don't believe you. And so basically I finished up the truck, brought it back to McCarran, put it in valet. He dropped it off. He shit himself when he saw the truck. Said, where are you at? I said, I'm in Fuegos. You know where Fuegos is? And said, meet me there. And so I showed up, and he's like, dude, I never seen anything like this in my life. And I've been in the car business a long time. This shit's crazy. And he shouted me out, and we started building a friendship. So that kind of like opened the door for me to bring value. And he's like, hey, how much do I owe you? And I said, don't worry about it. You don't want anything? I said, nope, I'm good. See, people don't understand, when you want to get proximity and you want to meet somebody that you want to get close to, what can you offer them of value they want to invest and have a conversation with you? You can't just walk up to people and be like, hey, can you show me how to do this, Albert? Can you teach me how to do this? Like, who are you, right? How have you showed up in my life? What have you brought me that made sense for me to have a conversation with you? Do you disagree?
I agree, 100%. Like I bought friends. And then I started getting free friends. So now friends want to buy me.
It's a circle of life, right? And so when we look at the entrepreneurs out there, the young people that look up to people like you, like me, I often tell them, if you're not investing in yourself, it's never going to happen.
Yeah. How much do you invest in yourself?
A year? It depends. Like, so last year, 100. I always tell people I can't sell something I don't do. So if I'm trying to mentor and teach you how to do something and offer you information, and I'm not investing, that would be a hypocrite.
Yeah. So to wrap up, you have a virtual platform with Brad and
Correct,
Lightspeed,
on
right?
Lightspeed, yeah.
Well, how much is that? Where can people get it? And then also you offer some coaching, you mentor people?
Yeah, so we have 3 different programs. They can do the VT system. They can pay yearly. It's normally $4,000. It's $2,000 right now if they sign up before the end of April. And we have boot camps, which are limited to 5 students per class. And that boot camp, I think, is going to be sold out for April. It's $4,000 for access of 2 days of live training at our headquarters in Vegas. And the third option is a personal mentorship with me, where I do one-on-one with you for 90 days, where I have a weekly call with you, and to go over your numbers, your marketing.
That's one-on-one?
It's one-on-one. And then you get a call with me for an hour every Friday. You also get 4 days with me in Vegas one-on-one as part of the mentorship, and that's $30,000.
So 4 days with you at your office? Or?
Yeah, in my office. Working with my teams, working inside, learning all the different moving parts of the company, the production side, the fulfillment side, the sales side, the social media. We have Austin. Shout out to Austin. He's been with me since 2018. He creates all my video content day and night. He's my videographer. Then we got Jesse Wilcox, CMO. He worked with Grant. He did his media buying. And when he left, when Grant let everybody go, or Wayne let everybody go, I hired Jesse. And so Jesse's with me. He's my chief marketing officer. And then I got Sam, who's my email guy. I got another Sam, he's my social media guy. I think it's really important for people to understand that to build a team around like you have, and you got your team here, they're essential for you to get your messaging out, right?
Yeah.
Because people don't understand that if people don't know you and what you do and how you do it and why it's important, then they're not interested. And
Yeah.
people's attention span is very small, you know? And for me, it's like, I think our next purpose, you asked me a question about where's Glossit going. We've got partnerships or affiliates that we have as authorized installers for some of our products. We want to go in and acquire 20% ownership of some of the top shops, but we're going to handle all the training, all the marketing, all the onboard, all the lead generation. We're going to handle it. And so that way we have a bigger presence, because
Yeah.
with our lead generation now, we get people every day saying, hey, I need a quote to my appointment setters. And then we start to set up the appointment. Oh, I'm in Nashville. I'm in Miami. I'm in Texas.
Yeah.
Right? That's how much how broad we are.
You're also a huge storyteller, especially on that YouTube channel that you
Yeah,
have right
Van
there.
Wiki. Shout out to Ed
You
Bolian.
get like millions of views just
Yeah.
telling stories about
just
like,
telling stories.
celebrities and cars.
Celebrities and cars.
Like how do you end up with all these people that this story just goes viral? Like, you think it's because you're in Vegas and you meet a lot of people there,
I don't know if it's, I think it's, yeah, I meet a lot of people.
or you think you attract them?
I think I attract the people that I work with, because the
Yeah.
people I work with are OCD like me. Right? And so they when you want somebody to work on your cars, you want just an average guy to touch your Ferrari.
I'm allergic to average people.
So you understand,
I don't talk to them.
right? Because they have nothing to offer you. They have nothing to learn from, right?
Exactly.
Because they leave.
See, we're speaking the same language.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I
I
think
only like to talk to people that give me value.
100%.
See, so I'm right.
Yeah,
100%.
You guys are the same. Crazy.
Yeah. But Maria, do you see the similarities?
I do.
Like before he walked in and I was just talking to you, and now we're talking. Do you see
You
that?
were like, oh, I'm obsessive, blah, blah. And I was like, that's what Albert says about himself all the time.
What?
That you're like, you have an obsessive personality, an addictive personality.
Obsessed, like OCD on the highest level. Like nothing's ever good enough.
Oh, that's Albert, for sure.
You know, like I like last year, a crazy story. I bought a house in Vegas, and you and Sil can come to dinner at my house. I found 2 houses in this neighborhood, and I always wanted to buy in this neighborhood. Like I envisioned it. I said, I'm going to buy houses. And we would drive, because I have another house down the street, because I have different properties. So, and that's a rental now. But we were driving by, and I told my wife, and I walked in, and she'll tell you, I walked in this house, and she looked at it, and she goes, are you fucking kidding me? Why are you going to buy this house? It's so ugly. I said, you're not seeing the vision. You're not seeing what I see.
Maybe she's an integrator.
It is because I like Miami style.
Oh yeah, me too.
But tell them the house now, Diana. Tell them
Yes, our home is like Miami style.
it's nuts, bro.
like
It's nuts.
outside is like
I designed it. I had the
Vegas,
contractors in
outside
there. I had custom barn doors
Is
made.
most of your business from Nevada?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you can't leave Nevada then.
Oh, I could leave Nevada. We
What-
thought about opening
what-
up
what
here
do
in
you get-
Southern California.
What about Miami?
We had a store in Fort Lauderdale.
No,
South Beach.
No, because the traffic is really bad, and I always am doing like a lot of stuff in the morning during the day. I wake up early. I like to go to the gym, then to do my stuff. Then like I am running all day, so I can't do that in Miami. No way. The traffic is like you have to spend like 4 hours.
You could do it in Coral
Or,
Gables.
or just move, get an office next to home or next to everything else.
When I was living with the first time when I moved to Miami, I was living in Coral Gables and I was working Coral Gables. I remember I was bartender, I was server, so I have like a 3 job, but everything in the area. So that is why I liked Miami when I was living there. My school was in Coral Gables, but to be honest, it's getting worse there. So
Yeah.
just for
We go
vacation.
there once a month typically to visit family and hang out.
Just for vacation.
And when we
Oh, well,
were-
at least you use it. You go there, use it, use the services. And
Well,
you
I
get
thought
out.
about buying another property there, because her
Could I
brother
get property, but no.
and her sister are there with the kids, the nieces and nephews. So we're going to buy another house in Coral Gables or somewhere in that area. And I thought I could buy a house with a casita, and then her brother and his partner could like live in the casita, and they watch
Yeah.
our main house. And that way, when we go, we have our
Well,
cars
make sure
there.
make sure the mortgage guys does your mortgage because we're licensed
I
in
like the
Florida.
plug.
Yeah.
I like the plug. I see where he's going with this. That's good leverage right there.
We're fully licensed in Florida.
So what's the 5-minute? We'll get you approved in 5 minutes. I heard the pitch.
Oh, well, that's business funding. Oh, that's a HELOC.
Oh, it's a
So
HELOC.
yeah,
I know what a
so
HELOC is.
so if you want to get a HELOC, there's this AI lender that we have, a relationship where you just apply. You don't even need to provide your social security number.
Uh-huh.
It's a soft pull, and they'll pull out equity. You'll get approval like in seconds or a denial.
Yeah.
And then if you get approved, then they just request like simple things like upload your bank statements or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't require it's an AI doing the underwriting. So even if your income doesn't support it, if they see deposits
Mm-hmm.
and then household deposits, like you could add other people's bank statements that live in the house,
Mm-hmm.
then AI will approve it and you get your money like in a week like that. So that's the HELOC thing. But then we also have business funding. So
That's actually a good business.
yeah, driven funding. Yeah, that's
Because here's the thing, in the conversations, we can talk off camera about it. We were
Yeah.
talking to a company out of Utah for the guys that want to attend our training. And so we
I
talked
got
to two
the
guys.
solution for you. I already know where you're going.
Yeah, so we talked to two guys, came down, and then from Utah, and then Jeffrey Hedges. You know Jeff. You met Jeff, Dr. Hedges, work with Brad. He's not there anymore.
Yeah.
But he came over and we were starting to try to see if we could build a relationship inside with him to work with Glossit. Anyway, he brought these two guys, and their funding program was kind of interesting because basically they either do a pull on your personal credit or your federal tax ID number, but they can get you financed within 7 to 10 days. So it's not just financing for the boot camp; it's money is working capital that you can actually use to grow your business.
Right.
So we were looking at that, and then my team never followed through. But you do the same thing?
Yeah, so it's driven funding. If you go to drivenfunding.com,
Yeah.
I bought that domain, by the way. So that domain, drivenfunding.com, cost me like, I think it was close to $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
Not a big deal, right? But I bought it. So now I have, if you go to drivenfunding.com, you apply there and you get approved, like you get your money like in 24 hours,
So
48 hours.
What they do, you could probably do, is we just put our logo at the top, but they fill their information out, they submit their application, and then it updates us on a control board to let us know when they get approved.
Yeah.
And then we reach back out to them and say, hey, you got approved on that.
Yeah.
Let's get you signed up now.
Yeah.
And they do zero financing. They were doing for the guys for like, I don't know, 18 months. And after that, it's like 20% interest or something.
Yeah.
But that's something that we need for these guys, because some of these guys need working capital. And you know, without capital, you can't grow. You
Right.
can't do anything.
And then like this type of funding is not, it's not like tied into the credit score or things like that. Like you could have a bad credit score, but if you have a business that brings money every month consistently, then you get approved. And it's pretty easy, pretty fast. And then, like for example, sometimes people they want to get. So I have this person that he wanted to get my mastermind. So I have a mastermind. It's a $30,000 mastermind, and he applied for driven funding, got access to more funds, and joined the mastermind.
Sweet.
Now this guy went from $7,000 a month to now making $350,000 plus a year.
See? Because you gave him a solution, a resource he didn't have.
So
He just needed a push.
but he had balls.
That's right.
Most people don't have balls,
That's right.
especially men nowadays.
No, you know why? Because they're emotional.
Yeah, so they're probably not men.
No. There's no dick between the legs. I
Yeah.
think the balls are missing too. No
Yeah.
huevos.
Yeah,
No mas.
maybe it's shrunk inside or something.
Well, I don't know, man. But she says it to me all the time. When we're trying to onboard and build people on our team, that's really difficult.
What's a man without balls?
An it?
I mean,
Well, what else would you call it? Remember the it?
a girl.
No, the girl has a clitoris and a vagina.
That's true.
A man that cuts his balls and dick off is an it.
It's true. I have something to say in that.
Oh, here we go.
All right.
Yes.
You just opened up the
Sorry.
door, dude.
Well, okay, he's trying to build his team for his company, make them stronger, and they say, no, your presence is too strong. So, you have to trust in us. They have to trust in his team. I'm okay with that. But I say, come on, I deal with you every single day, and I have to deal with your strong presence.
You know how that is.
Yeah.
Like when you when you walk in a room and you like look at something and you're like, you know that they're way off track,
Yeah.
and you go to correct them, but you do it in a professional manner and they get offended.
I mean, ask Maria how Albert thinks or Andrew. Like we expect people to be like, our culture is, we're badasses, we're number ones,
Yeah,
we're
very
strong.
high
If you're a softie or you have a brokey mindset, get the fuck out of here,
Yeah.
little
And these
bitch.
guys that she's talking about don't have that.
Yeah,
The problem what she's saying is that when you micromanage, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't allow them or have the opportunity to make a mistake. They feel like they want to make the mistake, and they want to learn from it. So when they start feeling like you're over top of them,
Yeah.
And so what we did recently, this is kind of important, is we defined everybody's role and responsibilities with an agreement that everybody signed on our team.
yeah,
Everybody. And then we defined their hats. And what are our policies? And if there's a problem in your department, here are the policies that have to be executed when that comes up, and this is how you handle it.
yeah,
And everybody had to sit down with me and go over that. And then that way I step back and I allow them. But then there's accountability inside that, where there's a weekly report I get with basic information I need. So I'm not breathing down your neck, because I always say numbers don't lie.
right.
Numbers don't lie.
People do.
People do. Right? And so for me, it's like, I don't care you make mistakes. I just don't bring me the problem.
Yeah.
Tell me I have this issue, but I already got a solution.
But you know what we do is we micromanage until you trust the person 100%.
Right. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just when your team starts to talk to you, like, Albert, I got this. That's what she's talking about.
Yeah.
My team started reaching back at me and like, dude, stop jumping in.
Yeah.
Let me do it.
One of my first mentors and friend till today is Patrick David,
I want to meet Patrick.
and he always told, I was with him a month ago.
I saw the
Yeah, you saw the podcast? It was good, huh? so
Except when your phone rang.
No, well, a lot of things happen. My team dropped the coffee in his favorite carpet. The coffee machine went on, and
It was not us. He didn't take us.
I think it was Frankie and Betcha dropping the coffee. but he believes, and he always told me, micromanage the fuck out of your people until you trust them 100%.
Yeah.
Because this is the way I see it, like a ship. Like, let's say we have Andrew, we have Maria, no matter how great they are, and everybody else. Like, when you have a ship, there's a reason why you have a captain. When you have a plane, there's a reason why you have, the captain. That's the captain, right? The person that flies the pilot. The pilot.
You got a
the
pilot,
the
you got
captain,
a
yeah.
navigator,
Yeah.
you got a co-pilot.
So like you can't just not have one of those. So they have to be looking over everybody else.
Right.
And so, like, still, she's the one that micromanages everything. My job is not to micromanage. My job as the visionary is to produce revenue, to instill the culture, and to make everybody a fucking badass and not a fucking softie.
Yeah. But you know what? Today's society is a different place to play.
Yeah.
It is a different playground, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've talked to, because one of the conversations I had with Tim, and Diana was present, it was a great conversation, is like, I asked him, I said, so what is your opinion today of these soft ass fucking people? I said, what do you think the solution? Because this is, in my opinion, what I told Tim was, parents stopped being parents 25 years ago. And what's showing up today in society is what these children have learned as their parents was leaders, or lack of leadership, about morals, ethic, loyalty, honor, respect, accountability, right? All these things are really important. And so what happens is when the parents didn't want to deal with it, what do? They shut them up, and here's a PlayStation, here's a skateboard, here's a $500, right? And when Tim goes, 100%. And so that started a long time ago. So if you think about 25 years of that progression of entitlement, because that's what they were taught, is just give it to them and shut them up, they're showing up in society today.
Yeah.
And then so for the question was, for Tim was, how would you, or do you think that we push past that? Great question, right? He said, that's a good question. He said, I don't have any real answer for that question.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah.
Because your environment, what you grow up, is what you become.
Mm-hmm. So you know Andy Frisella.
Yeah, Andy knows me.
Culture is huge. So what I believe in is that if you have strong culture, it weeds out the weaklings.
Yeah.
So, like, we just stick to our culture, and if people can hang, then they're welcome to go to another softie company or another softie place
Yeah.
and be hanging around with the softies.
Yeah.
I just don't have any patience for softies.
And what did I tell you the other day, Diana? What's my patience?
Zero tolerance.
Like I wish I could kick them in the like just kick him really hard in the jaw and just knock him down and have their head like fall bam bam bam, and then just take it back, be like, okay, I'm sorry, never mind.
Yeah, right.
But I
It's kind of
obviously
like that
obviously I
cartoon,
can
and then
do
the
that.
reality happens. It was just a
Yeah.
thought, not a reality.
Yeah, so this is just a thought.
Yeah.
I don't do this just in case the Department of Real Estate is watching me. Like I don't do this.
Do you know one of the things I thought about, and I was talking to a guy in Fuegos the other day. It was a great conversation, and he was a guy that made a lot of money in Vegas. We call him Mo. He's like a regular at Fuegos.
Yeah.
But he's not. He had open heart surgery where they cracked his chest, and he almost died.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of put him in a reality check. He did very well financially. He doesn't have to work anymore ever again. He went to work for a high school in Vegas for kids that are addicted to drugs or theft or just problems.
Yeah.
And he saw inside of this school that these kids were broken because of the environments they grew up in. He just approached me last week and said, would you consider mentoring or taking on some of these kids? Because I know a few of them, they're just hungry for knowledge. They're just hungry for an opportunity. And I'm thinking, like, these kids, if they had the opportunity to be in the right environment with the right leadership, could kill it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they've never had leadership in their life because their parents were either on drugs or in jail or whatever. But I think it's about giving back. And I told him, I said, if you want, I can come to the school and do an event where I can speak about opportunities and how leadership, you know? And he's like, dude, would you totally do that? And I think that's kind of like more of what we need in society, right? Because it's about giving back, right? It's about having appreciation and gratitude. If you don't like wake up feeling lucky, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. Well, all really successful people, I think, are lucky. In a way.
Yeah.
But it's because they put out positive thoughts and they're positive, and they think big and they have a vision and it happens.
And they take risks.
And like people that are like, when you're worried about gossipers, about people that are not part of your life, you're worried about problems you hear on TV, you're worried about like everything else except like instead of that, why not go on social media, put a few stories and be like, hey, you know what? I'm having a great day. I'm gonna make more money than ever today, and this week's gonna be good, and my dad's gonna be super healthy, and you put it out there, and I'm gonna be a billionaire by next year. Boom, you put it out there. People will laugh,
Yeah.
but then eventually it happens. So most people just focus on hating, on gossiping. You can't create and hate at the same time.
No.
So if you just focus on creating, you don't even have time to hate on nobody or focus on any of these little weasels, losers.
We call them the brokies. But, you know,
Brokies.
one of the things that I noticed, and she's noticed too, as I start to scale and grow and I put more content out, right, it's that it's being able to ignore the white noise. You know what the white noise is? The haters, right? The comments, the shit that they have no idea what they're talking about.
They're free promoters.
Yeah. And so my buddies who are next level, they're like, dude, that's free advertising.
Yeah. And they're
Why
free,
are you letting that
They're
bother
free
you?
motivators too.
But we're all human. Did that not bother you in the beginning when they first started, like, hammering you?
Yeah. Me?
Yeah, in the beginning.
It bothered me when I was like my first year or 6 months into it, where like I had this like ugly she was just a fucking ugly species, like this lady, and she was dating one of Grant Cardone's old ex salespeople, but she looked weird, like, you know, like kind of like a brown peanut with like oversized features, and like the lips looked like that fish. I don't know the name of the fish, but like just weird looking plasticky girl, and I went live with Brad and Grant, and she was commenting like, oh my god, this guy sucks, he has an accent, he can't even speak English right, he's never gonna make it, wanna be Grant Cardone. So all I have to say, because I'm sure she's gonna watch this, because now I grew and she didn't, obviously, like, look at me now, bitch. You look like a fish and you're broke.
But here's the thing, you can't, you know, the thing is that you can't argue with results, like, right? If it happens, there's no changing it. It is what it is, right? And a lot of people want to argue with results. And I think that if we just keep talking through results and showing what is possible, then people shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what I do, and she tells me all the time, she's like, we have all this thing. I'm not, and I'm kind of like on Brad's side because Brad and I are not comfortable. I think Brad's not either. I don't like flexing a lot. I don't think it's required. I don't need to sell my personal items as success because those are things I did for me, not for anybody else.
Yeah.
Make sense? And so for me, it's like my team's always telling me, why are we not flexing? You know, like, you have all this cool shit. Let's show it. And I was like, because that's not reality. They're not going to get that off the bat. That's a lot of work and consistency and focus. So
I'm gonna give you like here just to close out. I'm gonna give you two things that I suggest and that I encourage you to do. Number one is like get back to your consistency of like the workouts and everything. And next time I see you, like you're gonna be like we're gonna take our shirts off and we're gonna be like, okay, let's see.
So hold on. Let's do a challenge.
Let's do it.
90 days.
Let's do it.
Starting
right now.
Right now. 90 days. I'll come back to LA.
Checking every day.
Yeah.
She's gonna be like,
Yeah. But number two though, I want you just to be open, like the nice things you have, the accomplishments, show them to the world because like why not? Like you earned it. You work hard for it. Why not show it? Why is it okay to tell people I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm broke, I'm a loser, I have cancer, I'm gonna die? Why is that okay? And people are like, oh, and you get all these comments and people feel bad for you and people are like, oh my God. And then when you tell people I have a 6-pack, I'm ripped, I'm rich, I'm good looking, and
7 car, sport car.
yeah, I don't know what to drive today, either a Ferrari or a Rolls Royce. Maybe I don't know. And people criticize you. You know what? I don't know what watch to wear. Like, you know what?
Yes.
And people criticize you and people think you're a douche, you're a dick, you're whatever. Like, come on, world, wake up, stop being so weak and work on this, get tough, grow some balls and show off a little bit. But you work hard for it. Like you deserve it. Like you have a beautiful wife, you have a beautiful family. Like show it off. Show off the cars, the whatever you have that you're proud of. Like I mean, it's your decision, your life. But look at what I did to Brad Lee. I changed his life. He was driving a Mercedes CLS when I met him.
Yeah, that's what he had.
And I told him like, hey bro, like, don't you want to get a better car?
Yeah.
And then I said, I feel bad for you. Here, take my Ferrari for a year.
Yeah.
And then guess what? I took it back, and then he got his own one.
Yeah. Because you planted the seed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always had the car itch. Like, it's always been my thing. Like, 2 of my favorite cars, she's seen, well, you saw pictures. I had a 430 Scudera, which is worth a bunch of money today.
Yeah.
I had a black one and a gray one.
Yeah.
And 2 of my favorite cars, and then I have the GT3 RS, I have a 72 Pantera, I have an 89 Porsche Speedster. I'm what else do I have? I have a Demon. I have the brand new Z06 anniversary convertible. I drive a 1,000 horsepower TRX every day. I have a 70. Yeah.
So there you go. See, now he's flexing. Now he's flexing, dude. Come on, let's give it up for Rich. They don't call you Rich for a reason.
No, it's a great.
His name is Rich and light because you got
in
the
Spanish,
light.
It's
you're
Ricardo
rich.
Luz. See,
Yeah.
Ricardo Luz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see it as you got a lot of light, and you're rich.
Yeah. Powerful name, right? The combo.
Powerful name.
You know?
And then you're married to a Latina, which makes you even more powerful.
It does.
Yeah. You guys have the perfect life.
And so is Sil and Diana gonna train together now, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You can help Sil.
I like
Yeah.
it. No, but she's a strong woman. I see her. Very strong. Oh yeah.
But now here's the thing: we got to work on your cars. We got to make them right. Because if they don't have Glossit in their life, it's you know, I picked up Vinny Mintz. You'll meet Vinny when you come to Vegas. Low key guy, but one of the founders and owners of Copart. You know what Copart is? Largest salvage title company in the world. It's a 40-some billion dollar a year company.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the major stockholder. And you know how he found me?
The YouTube channel?
Van Wiki. He sent his curator down and said, go find that guy.
Yeah.
Go
Dude,
find that
well, you're
guy.
blowing up on YouTube. Like, there's videos there with millions and millions of views. So
Yeah.
like, you're really proud of you and
Thanks,
happy to
man.
have you as a friend. If people here want to reach out to you, they want to get your coaching, they want to just contact you.
So
What's your favorite part?
So we got two
Please.
links. If you guys want to set up a free 15-minute call with
you?
myself, me, or one of my staff, and if you request, it's called Glossit Uni, UNI.com. It's a landing page we created, and there's a calendar, and you might be lucky if you pick a day on that calendar, and sometimes I take over to teach my sales team on how to have these conversations with the people that are interested in the training. You might be somebody that I pick up and I talk to on the phone. And we do it on Zoom. We like to do it on Zoom because we like to record the call and then share it back with the person that we have the call with.
Yeah.
You know? So that is a landing page for a free 15-minute call. And then there's Glossit University, which shows our mentorship, our boot camps. That's our website. You can go and get more information on that. And if you guys ever want to check out glossit.tv, glossit.tv is we put three car videos out per week, and it's a different car with a different customer with a different story. Because as we say, every customer has a story, but every car has a story.
Right.
And that's been my TV commercial that I run on Barrett Jackson and Meckham, and people like that, you know, because it's true,
Yeah.
right? I always tell people, if I had to pick you or your car, I'd pick your car.
There you go.
Nice.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Albert. Appreciate it. Now we're friends. Finally good to meet. Brad,
Yeah.
don't be jealous. I'll be on Dropping Bombs next month.
Brad's busy on vacation.
He's in Turks. We weren't going to talk about what he's doing.
Yeah, he's on he's having a vacation, enjoying himself.
He never has a problem with that.
You should never.
He never has a problem with taking time off. I told him, I'm like, dude, how do you do it?
Yeah.
Because he's like, because I have to, because Melissa says this is the way it's going to be, and I go with the program. You know how Brad is.
Yeah.
So I have a